Have you ever wondered why some of your habits feel completely normal to you, but strangely unusual to everyone else? Maybe you talk to yourself when you think. Maybe you take long walks alone for no reason. Maybe your desk looks like chaos while your computer files are organized like a scientific lab. Or maybe you get obsessed with random topics for a week and then suddenly move on to something completely different. Most people assume these habits are strange, dramatic, or simply personality quirks. But psychology actually says something very different. Many of the behaviors people consider weird are strongly linked to high cognitive ability, deeper processing, and advanced intelligence. In other words, the habits you've always seen as odd might actually reveal that your mind operates on a level most people don't recognize. The first behavior that often appears in highly intelligent people is the habit of talking to themselves, not only in moments of stress, but in everyday thinking. People imagine self-talk as a sign of instability, but research in cognitive psychology calls it verbal reasoning. When you turn your thoughts into words, your brain organizes information more clearly. You solve problems faster, you evaluate ideas more accurately, and you stay mentally focused. This is why many high IQ individuals whisper through decisions or quietly narrate their problem-solving process. They're not being strange, they're activating the brain's internal processing system. Talking to yourself reduces cognitive noise and creates structure. What looks odd to others is actually the sound of a mind tuning itself like an instrument. Another habit strongly connected to high intelligence is logical overthinking. People often say, "You think too much," as if thinking deeply is a flaw. But highly intelligent individuals don't overthink because they're anxious. They overthink because their minds naturally scan multiple angles of every situation. They analyze details, consequences, patterns, and possible outcomes long before they act. Psychologists call this cognitive complexity, the ability to understand layered information and connect ideas others don't even notice. To outsiders, this kind of overthinking seems like indecision, but in reality, it's the brain gathering data for the smartest possible outcome. Intelligent people rarely jump to conclusions. Instead, they examine the map before choosing a path. Their processing simply goes deeper than the average person realizes. A third sign, one of the most common among high IQ individuals, is the tendency to enjoy walking alone. At first glance, this might look like introversion, antisocial behavior, or emotional withdrawal. But neurologically, something much more interesting is happening. Walking activates parts of the brain responsible for creative problem solving, internal reflection, and idea association. Solitude gives the mind space to wander, and wandering thoughts often lead to breakthroughs. This is why countless thinkers, Steve Jobs, Beethoven, Nikola Tesla, were known for taking long solitary walks. Intelligent minds use walking the way computers use a cooling system. It prevents overload and unlocks clarity. They're not avoiding people. They're creating the mental space needed to innovate and understand themselves. Another habit often misunderstood is the combination of external chaos and internal precision. Many highly intelligent people appear messy in one part of their life and hyper-organized in another. Their desk or room might look chaotic, but their digital files, creative systems, or long-term plans are structured with extreme precision. This is not laziness or inconsistency. It is selective organization, the ability to focus energy on what actually matters and ignore what doesn't. High IQ minds conserve mental resources. They prioritize ideas over appearances, meaning hidden structure is more important to them than visible order. Studies even show that mildly chaotic environments can boost creativity by encouraging non-linear thinking. So the person with a messy workspace isn't disorganized. They're simply operating on a different efficiency model. Another fascinating trait is the habit of entering short, intense phases of obsession with random topics. One week, you're deeply studying astronomy. The next week, you're researching ancient civilizations. A few days later, you're learning everything about programming, psychology, architecture, or some very specific scientific theory. People might say, "You change hobbies so quickly," or "Why do you get so obsessed with this stuff?" But this kind of sudden intellectual passion is a signature trait of high curiosity, a neurological system linked to intelligence. Learning triggers dopamine in the high IQ brain. Not attention, not social approval, not entertainment, learning. These quick bursts of obsession are simply the brain feeding itself information. And when it has consumed enough, it moves on to the next area of curiosity. It's not inconsistency, it's exploration. Another habit that often surprises people is the dislike of small talk. Highly intelligent minds struggle with surface level conversation because it doesn't stimulate them. Talking about the weather, routine daily activities, or social gossip provides no meaningful input. It's not arrogance. It's simply that their brain seeks depth. Thoughts about ideas, human behavior, meaning, psychology, the future, or complex patterns. This is why many high IQ individuals appear quiet in groups but become energetic and engaged when the topic is insightful or intellectually challenging. Small talk drains them because it requires effort without offering substance. Deep conversation, on the other hand, activates their entire mind. Intelligent individuals also demonstrate an unusual strength in recognizing patterns, both in their environment and in people. They notice micro changes in tone, behavior, decision-making, and emotional expression. They spot inconsistencies quickly. They connect dots others don't even realize exist. This skill comes from advanced neural integration, different regions of the brain communicating efficiently and rapidly. As a result, they often sense outcomes before they happen, identify hidden motives, or understand systems intuitively. They aren't psychic. They're observant enough to read the clues. Finally, one subtle but powerful indicator of high intelligence is a unique style of humor. High IQ humor tends to be fast, layered, unexpected, sometimes ironic or dark, and often built on abstract connections. Many people don't understand it because the joke relies on quick association or complex context. This is why highly intelligent individuals often laugh at things others don't find funny, or make jokes that go over people's heads. Their humor isn't strange. It's simply operating at a deeper cognitive level. When you look at all these habits together, a pattern appears. Highly intelligent people don't fit the stereotype of a loud, confident genius. Their intelligence shows up quietly in the way they think, observe, and protect their mental space. They talk to themselves to think clearly, analyze decisions deeply, prefer solitude for creativity, avoid small talk, notice patterns instantly, and laugh at things others overlook. These habits aren't random. They're signs of a mind that works on a deeper level. So, if you've ever felt different or misunderstood, you might simply be operating with a quieter kind of intelligence,